it's me, Erin. Thanks for joining us on the More Love podcast. Do not tell Rebecca, but this podcast is about empathy. She likes people to think she's dead inside, but the truth is she's a big-time feeler who has truly helped me uncover that empathy is my superpower. Oh, here she comes.
Hey, bestie.
Hi, love.
What are you doing?
Oh, just getting ready to host a podcast.
A podcast? About what?
Life. Our life as best friends, who are more like sisters.
Ah, yay! I love us, and I can't wait to share our stories with the world.
Especially the ones that involve us pushing each other, right? To be our most authentic selves.
Oh, man. Okay.
You know how you just said, let it rip? You know what that reminded me of? I wonder if you're going to remember this. When we were in Res Life together, and Joe Franek was welcoming all of the RAs via one of his speeches. And it was like one of those, rally, we're going to have a great year.
Like hype them up.
Things. Yep. I don't know if you remember this, but during his speech, he's standing up there and he says into the microphone in front of these
18-year-olds,
21, 22-year-olds. Let it rip this year. And the level of laughter that came over
I remember
the audience. Do you remember
I
this?
sure do. I do.
Talk about an empathy moment where I'm like,
I want to die.
Because he
had no idea.
Oblivious.
Yes. Yeah. He was also retirement age.
He might as well have gone up there and said, blow some gas this year. Let it rip. And
Let it rip.
Oh my gosh. That's what I just thought
I thought you were going to talk about the time that you and my husband were farting into the flames.
The Blue Angels?
The Blue Angels. And by the way, I put a bunch of candles out on my ottoman this weekend.
Yeah.
And Sawyer was lighting them. And I said, it's like it's butt level. Yeah. I go, Sawyer, don't fart near these candles. She's like, why? I go, because the flame will go up your butthole. Doesn't she go right over and try it? I'm like... She goes, that was real hot.
All I remember about that is Philip going upstairs and putting on some soccer shorts so that he could get some better wind. Yeah. Because his jeans were not allowing for full stream. That is so screwed up. What is wrong with us?
I don't know. That wasn't that long ago.
Not okay.
This is a Friday night in our life.
Why do people listen to that?
I don't know, but the fact that that was just a normal thing that we were going to do.
I know.
Oh my God,
true.
we die.
It's true.
You're not going to believe.
Hit us with a card.
You're not going to believe this.
What?
So I did 2 different decks.
Oh no.
Whoa, that was almost bad. It was almost bad. You almost wrecked the pool.
I would have be like Scott.
Oh God. All right, so I did two shit fell all over the place. God. All right, so I did 2 different cards. The first one.
I'm not amused.
The first one I did was the High Priest.
Okay.
And it's wisdom. And then the second one is the Emperor.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of power energy right there.
Right?
I think. I mean, I don't know what that means, but okay.
I can't.
What?
I can't wait. We're gonna start with the High Priest.
Okay.
The High Priest is the spiritual leader of the oceanic realm. The crook in his left hand shows his role within the church. He is the shepherd of his flock. Like the spiritual partner, the High Priestess, he stands at a portal between the realm of the divine world of mankind. His right hand is open and he's offering wisdom and knowledge. This is 100% for the last podcast.
Okay.
Because you are this person. And you did say this was your card.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
So this Emperor must be my card because you just tried to school me and Scott in our last session.
Whatever.
There was no change our lives.
There was no schooling.
So wisdom. This is you. Marriage and ceremonies, wisdom and powerful leadership are the gifts of the High Priest. I'm trying to manage us.
Oh, yep.
A man of learning.
Yeah.
The High Priest suggests that education may be an option for you now.
Oh, good.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we need to
get
schooled.
Back to school.
We need to get schooled on how to be more structured.
Okay.
He also predicts unity in 2 ways: with your body, your mind, and your soul. So you feel connected to your intuition and close to your guides. And then secondly, he represents the unity of 2 people as they come together as one. An additional meaning of the card is convention and tradition. But if this isn't for you, you may feel restricted by another's traditional beliefs. That's really interesting because
how spot on that is.
Right. And in our last session, we talked about how our energies and the way of doing things, and then also incorporating how other people feel and those kinds of things need to be merged into one so that everybody has a clear understanding and feels seen and all those things. But we forgot to read the card. So I just left it out and decided I'm going to pull a second card to see how these two sessions are going to relate. So then my card is the Emperor.
Is that a ram?
I think it's a ram. It has a magic ball.
Oh, yeah.
That's a water buffalo.
It's one of
it's
those,
a water
Or it's an ox. It's an ox.
It's not one of those cute Highland cows?
No. But I did go down the rabbit hole and watched a woman style a Highland cow's hair.
Oh, I love that.
Millie.
I would love that. Okay.
It's adorable.
Okay.
The cutest thing I've ever seen, right down to curling irons and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Crack me up. All right. The Emperor, a wise father figure of the tarot, has invited you into his study for a sniffer of brandy and a frank chat about what you want from life.
Snifter.
A snifter of brandy.
Yeah.
His influence can help you distill your many vague and overlapping dreams into a few concrete goals. He's the real success and power deal, and he's carrying around a golden orb. Oh, it's not a magic ball. It's a golden orb to prove it. Admire the determination and the steadiness it takes to achieve such sway. Then find those qualities within and bring them front and center. If you do the work, you can accomplish anything. Just know it might take decades until you happen upon the exact right, this is for me kind of orb. Advice. I think I know I can. I think I know I can. I think I am definitely positive I can.
Suss these cards.
Yeah, but think about it.
I know. That's a good one.
Agreed.
That was me and you.
I know.
And you feel really closely connected to that card, don't you?
I do.
Just as strongly connected as I feel to me standing between the divine and the peasants. That's great. Okay, that's good. That's really interesting.
So I think that's going to be very interesting in how we talk about this next session.
I think so too.
Based on what just transpired in the last session.
Because of how I need to start this part of the session, which is, I think we've caused some unnecessary anxiety in some of our listeners.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, they probably should be anxious a lot of the time when we're talking because they're not really sure what the heck we're about to talk about.
Was it the fart jokes?
No, not at all.
Okay.
It's about the subscription service.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay. And so I want to spend some time talking about the subscription service and what that's going to mean and what that looks like. And I would love for us to provide the real and raw behind the scenes of how this has all gone down with subscription so that those people who are listening.
Well, they just learned the last session. They learned the last session how it went down. And when we say it's coming out next week, it won't be for like 3 months.
That's true. It's true. I didn't mean those details.
Oh. I thought you were gonna therapize the process.
Right. Yeah, right. Part 2. So I think it's cool to talk about the idea of the subscription service, where it came from, where it originated, why we're thinking that we're going to be using Supercast and those types of things, and some of the ways in which I think we feel ill-prepared to be venturing into this, but other ways in which we're like really ready to go with this.
Okay.
Because I do think I might know that we've caused some undue stress for some of our listeners who have come to me and said, I need to know how much the subscription service is going to cost because I need to put my money aside for it.
Oh my God, that's so
It's
cute.
really sweet.
That's like it's going to be like a Louis
Right.
Vuitton.
Yeah. Right. I know.
That's cute.
I know. It is. I mean, that's the quality of this podcast. If we're anybody.
Right. I mean, the stuff we give away for free.
Louis
Imagine
Vuitton
what we're going
for
to.
some Goodwill prices. That's what we're offering here. So let's start first by talking about why subscription. Why do people do subscriptions? What the heck is a subscription, right? And why did we decide to go this way? So I really can't remember back far enough as to why we decided to do the subscription, except for the fact that two things. One, we wanted better track of our listeners and what our listeners were interested in receiving or engaging with for us. Because, there's no lack of ideas of things that can happen with this podcast. We've talked about merch. We've talked about full-on retreats. We, Scott talked one time about going on a More Love cruise. And just basically...
I'll book it and plan all the details.
Right. Great.
You won't know where we're going or where.
Yeah. Either will you, but it's fine. We've talked about doing some sessions around different aspects of empathy, right? Yeah. Some workbook kind of stuff. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff that could possibly be created out of this. And so one of the things we wanted to do was establish, we know through Spreaker how many listeners we have, which has been growing exponentially and is really awesome to see.
Has it been 6 months? I think it's... July?
I don't remember.
I don't know.
Scott probably know better than we do because he's been dealing with this long, but
he's like, it's been 10 years. I'm over it.
Yeah, sure we're not at a year yet.
Don't tell me it hasn't been a year yet.
Definitely not.
Please do not tell me that.
But it's so validating to see that number go up. It's so validating to hear from people. Oh my gosh, I loved XYZ episode. I still have people text message me. Great episode today. That was really awesome. I've had people refer to it as their weekly therapy. Like, it's just really cool to know that we can come together, have our very normal, everyday conversations, and that people can take things from that.
First 3 episodes were dropped on July 27th, 2023.
Wow, not even a year. Wow. That's crazy. So July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February,
few months out.
8 months. Wow, we haven't even cooked a full baby yet.
Jesus Christ.
So
I don't recall trying to make one, but
well, I don't know where you are.
You don't remember that, Scott? Where were you?
I hate to tell you, but it ain't gonna work.
Oh my gosh. So that's where originally it came from. And then second, it came from, I don't know if people know this, but we pay to do this podcast. So we work very closely. Top dollar.
That's right.
Top dollar. We work very closely with Scott. We're big, huge promoters and fans of Rock Fox. We talk about Rock Fox as much as possible. I'm not realizing in this moment that maybe some of your fame, Scott, is coming from us, all the ways in which we talk about Rock Fox.
Oh, it's
and that
all 100%,
might be
yeah.
leading to the chaos. And so actually we're the problem. So that's fine.
Well, it's funny because I was on my staff call the other day and Sarah for Road Dads, she's like, Scott's basically part of the show. I'm like, oh yeah. But even for her to acknowledge that, I'm like, yeah, we're pretty much a threesome. Like, you know.
Yeah, right.
You know.
Right.
2 blondes and a dude.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, by the way, we picked our radio names.
Oh, kind of.
No, I think it's hilarious.
You like actually changing your names or the name of a show or something?
No, like, you know how you said that if we do end up on the radio that we have to have like a rite of passage is to give people their radio names. Do you remember talking about this?
Yeah.
So I gave Rebecca her name and it's Cabbage.
Cabbage?
Cabbage, and she's
Cabbage.
the professor. Cabbage and the professor.
Oh, God, that's a morning show if I've ever heard one.
Right? Cabbage.
Mornings with Cabbage and the Professor.
Right? Now, again, we spend our weekends farting into candles and coming up with the shit for a pipe dream someday.
Cabbage.
I had no idea when I signed up to do this podcast that I was going to be doing a podcast with 2 like 20-something,
Looking
pretty. Yeah. I very
bros.
much appreciate the reference of our ages. I very much appreciate
don't
that.
Tell people our ages, Scott.
20-something frat bros.
Yeah, so Cabbage and the Professor is, those are our radio.
Do you like it?
I think it's brilliant.
Does it match our personalities?
Oh, yeah. That's it.
Cabbage.
I'm gonna pitch that.
Cabbage. Sign my thing. Sign my shirt. Cabbage. Cabbage. Over here. The professor. The professor.
Oh my God. I'm pretty sure we designed a logo.
Oh my God. Again, you guys take me right off. What the hell are we talking about?
Subscription service. See, again, this is another reason you want to be a part of the subscription. We just gave you a little teaser.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we'll see if that's going to make the cut. Yeah. Okay, so what I was talking about is how we love Rockvox, but and also Scott treats us super well here, but we also pay to do our podcasting. And everyone knows you broke as a joke. So I'd like to say I'm the one paying for the podcast.
We should have Darnell call in and talk about that.
Yeah. Between the two of you and your 18 jobs, I don't know.
18 jobs, but we got 18 bank accounts because all these certain things come out.
Certain things come out of each one of them. I don't know why either of you can't, spring up some funds for the podcast. But let's just be real clear. Aaron's paying for the podcast. And so, actually, it's Aaron and Scott. Essentially, are paying for this podcast. Rebecca just shows up. So I thought to myself, there has to be, if there is any potential way of being able to monetize the value and bring this community together in a way that can be a beautiful synergy for everyone, how would we do that? Right. And to be fair, I had no clue about Patreon. I had no clue about Supercast. I had no clue about any of these things. Now, that shows that we are older than 27 because anyone who is in their 20s is real clear. This is just a thing that everyone is doing, right? This is, if you have a podcast, if you have any type of content that you sell, right, you use these systems all the time. Side note, I also thought that OnlyFans was something that I could join to do therapy with people, like coaching sort of separately, and have my own exclusive community. That's not what OnlyFans is. No. Okay?
Yeah, they would be very upset if that's all.
And Mark's like, you can, but you better be naked while you're talking to people.
Right. Yeah.
I just therapy with pasties on.
Right.
I think that is breaking some ethical codes. So.
You think?
Okay, so we then had to jump into figuring out what type of subscription service we wanted to go with. And Scott, you really did a lot of research and sort of looking into all this. Can you talk a little bit about that process and how we decided on Supercast?
Well, there's a lot of different options, and the way I decided was based on how much it was going to cost us to use it. Some of them are monthly, and there's a certain rate for how many, how big your audience is or how much content you have. And the one that I thought was best was Supercast, mainly for the idea that if people are subscribing, the people who are subscribing, the podcast episodes will still be available in their podcast player that they use. So if you listen on Spotify, you can still listen to them. The other ones, you have to have a specific player. You have to go to that site. So you have to go to that site to our page and listen from that site to our page after you log in. Whereas with Supercast, if you listen on Spotify, it's there. You do have to run an app. You do have to kind of get it set up. But once you get it set up, then
good to go.
You can find those episodes right in the app that you use, which I thought was very important.
That's cool.
Yep.
And plus we have the video part of it, which is still kind of a new thing outside of YouTube. Of course, everybody on YouTube, at least the big YouTubers, they have that, wrapped up. We don't have the followers yet.
We have 68 people.
We have 68 people.
Wow.
Yeah. So we're about
almost to 69.
We don't even know all of them.
We're almost to 69.
So we're about 938 people shy of what we need.
Oh.
No, actually,
okay.
Guys,
sorry,
jump on the YouTube.
I mean 9,038 people. So
we're a little off.
I will say that I'm not an expert by any means on the YouTube stuff. For content creators, as far as making money, the monetization, I never really looked into that because it never interested me. I was all about helping other people create their content, but not about them making money off it, which, maybe I should have, but it also changes all the time. But if you need, I figured if we saw the trend happening that we could go that way, then we could easily find the information. It's everywhere.
Yep. And the part that you brought up about the pay, I think, is an interesting component of all of this. So there are some of the subscription services that you, as the person putting on the subscription service, have to pay a monthly amount based on the number of followers.
Right, the different tiers of, yeah.
Absolutely. And that was something that was not super exciting to us. One, because again, it's just money out with no money coming in potentially, or we'd have to wait for a certain amount of time. And then the one that we ultimately ended up going to, I think it's important to just transparently say that there is a fee, but the fee is associated with when the person subscribes. So when the person subscribes to a certain model or plan, XYZ, 15 cents, 20 cents, 90 cents is essentially taken. One part of it is taken by Stripe, which is the company that accepts the credit card payment. And then the other is taken by the actual company itself. That's
Spreaker.
how, by Supercast.
I'm sorry.
That's how they essentially make their money. Right. So, that came into play when we were trying to decide on our money levels and on how much we should charge and what the content should be. Because if you are essentially giving everything away for free and doing a subscription service, it's still costing you money because you are getting charged for that new member that's being added. Again, it's not tons of money. Again, 15, 20 cents, whatever per person, but are not making any revenue associated with that.
Right.
I think that part's important because I would want to know that if I was on the other side. I would want to be like, why is there a free, or why is it $1? Or how come it's $2 instead of $1? Right. Well, because if XYZ%, it's all math, right? Is being taken for whatever reason.
I can't math.
Yeah. Both of you cannot math. This is why
at least one
handled that part of it.
What's that? 75% of us can do it?
Yeah,
no, wait.
right.
22.3% repeating.
Oh my God.
Anyway, continue.
So we decided to go with Supercast. And then what that meant is we needed to go in and we needed to set everything up. And so we had to then determine what are the types of things that we would think More Love subscribers actually cared about, wanted, would see as a value add, and more importantly, would add value to their life or would be something that they would be excited about. So enter into the conversation the shared Google Doc. That, again, you want to talk about it behind the scenes. I'm pretty positive. I created the Google Doc. I wrote the entire Google Doc. I asked everyone to go in and use a different color to add to the Google Doc. Rebecca had one thing to do, which was name the subscription levels. She did not do it. And Scott did go in and added a couple of notes here and there. And then both of us, we all participated on a Zoom call together where I successfully led us through the entire joint document where they both added their thoughts on the fly. Correct, friends? Is it accurate?
That's
thank you.
Pretty much nailed it.
Thank you.
Pretty much nailed it.
Again, have some empathy for Erin here. Think of that when you subscribe. Thank you.
It should be the theme of the day.
If I'm real clear right now, Erin's paying for the podcast. Erin is doing the work for the podcast. She's reviewing the podcast. She's also reviewing the Google Doc.
I feel like next time I need a day off, I need to ask you.
Jeez. Oh my God.
Yeah, you do everything. Everything. But yeah, I have never been denial of that.
Thankfully, that's all I'm looking for in life is validation. Thank you.
I have never been in denial that you two run this show.
Thanks. I feel great. I feel really seen right now. Thank you.
I just push the buttons.
So, Scott, we decided to start. Oh, also, we'll add this in. Rebecca did send some articles for people to review and read, as well as some sample Patreon examples.
Yes. And a marketing plan.
Did you read any of that or look at any of those?
Yeah.
Stop it right now.
Not for this podcast, for someone else.
Stop it. I did. I cannot.
That's why I said that. That's why I said that.
And then did I read that article? I highlighted that article.
But you printed it out.
I went right in and I became a subscriber of the woman who provided the content because I thought to myself, she really provided valuable content. And she said 5 times in here, if you find this content valuable, subscribe to me here. I absolutely did. Right? I took valuable notes. I put that down on the Google Doc. And she said, you do not want to have any more then 3 subscription levels to start.
Okay.
So what did we do? We created 5. Bunch of assholes. And I'm telling you, we had all the things covered.
Yeah.
You know, we put all the things out there. So then I gave the Google sheet, you know, the behind the curtain to 2 listeners, Stacy and Renee. Thank you guys. And I said, please look at this and give me your feedback on it. And they provided really great feedback and thoughts. And one of those pieces of feedback was, I would start with 3 levels. It's a lot less complicated. And then you're going to get a general sense of where people are, what they want to commit to, how they want to commit to you, and sort of build it from there.
Okay.
So I went back in again and redid some of the math and redid some of the, you know, we could offer this or we could offer that.
You also came up with some really good names.
I thank you.
Yeah.
And now what you did contribute to that was during the meeting that we had first, you said, I don't like those names. And then you're like,
the original ones.
They need to be something like specific to the podcast. They need to be like, you know, something tarot.
Is that how I talk in the meeting?
You know, they need to be something like whatever, which is when you then got assigned the task of naming the themes and then just didn't do it. So then I named them myself.
And you nailed it.
And, you know, I wouldn't put it past you to come back and be like, I don't like those names either, because you just have all the audacity in the world to be able to do that. But however, I must have nailed it in some way, shape, or form.
Nailed it. Yeah.
So we have 3 tiers. And the first tier is a free tier. That is essentially a tier where you're going to get what you have been getting.
That's not right.
Was that just a subtle promotion?
That's a promo.
Brought to you by
Subtle
Rockfox.
What you're about to hear is brought to you by Rockfox. I did all the work on this, Scott.
That's right. That's right.
So then you're going to have access in the free version to the More Love Podcast official Facebook page, occasional live episodes, as we talked about, and the limited guest interview content. So our hope is that you, even if you want the free version, are still going to go in and subscribe, because if you subscribe, we then are able to know that you are an active member of our More Love community. We'll be able to follow you. We'll be able to talk to you about different offers or specials or opportunities that we have. So this will help us, again, start to create the More Love community that we are hoping to do a lot of really awesome things with in the future. So after the free version, we move up to a $5 a month version. I call this the Chakra Aligners. Do-do-do, do-do-do. All 7 stones beautifully displayed.
There 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Is it? Yeah, on purpose. That was not on purpose.
I never even looked at that. Wow, look at you. In fact, I didn't even read it.
So, yeah, right. Rebecca's finding out for the first time, just with all of you, what is in the $5 subscription per month.
No.
So the $5 per month are for anyone who listens to the podcast that wants a little extra from Rebecca and Aaron. Some extra perks, including 1, early access to episode content, which we have heard from a few listeners. They've said, wouldn't it be great if we had early access, for instance, even 24 hours earlier? So with $5 a month, you will get early access. And as Scott had said, it would be available on your actual place where you listen to the podcast by Wednesday at 7 a.m. This is kind of a cool ad. So people who are on our Chakra Aligners level are going to have their name added to a credit reel at the end, identifying you as a Chakra Aligner, which is pretty awesome. So that you get some credit that you deserve for being a part of our community. They're still not going to be full-on interviews with guests at this level, but you will be provided some additional highlight reels of the extra content that you would not be seeing unless you were at the 3rd level that I'll talk about here in a moment. But these highlight reels are going to give you some of the tips, tricks, perks, sort of highlight information of some of the guests that we have coming on the show. I think it's probably an appropriate time to say that we have identified 8 or 9 guests that will be coming on the show over the next few months, if Rebecca schedules them to be on the podcast. Otherwise, don't worry about the highlight reels because we don't have any guests. So Also, with the chakra aligners, because you'll be in our Supercast community, you're going to have access to exclusive feed and comments in the Supercast. So this is a new one for me as well. But why I'm excited about this is we've had a lot of you say there's so much content that we want to further discuss. We need a safe place where people can come together and say, I love that this was said in the episode. What do people think? Or so-and-so said this and it really pissed me off. Was I the only one who had that reaction? And so it's going to be exclusive. It's going to be a safe place where people can come to contribute to a thread associated with content material. Whereas the More Love Podcast Facebook group is going to be reserved for more friendly. We post some memes on there, some videos on there, some thought-provoking questions.
More of a deep dive in the
this middle level.
I keep wanting to call it Spreaker. It's Supercast.
Yeah, will be more of a deep dive into some of the discussions. So that'll be interesting, I think, to participate in, and just, I think, cool to hear how some people are reflecting on episode content. You'll receive some early drop notifications. So if we're going to be going live, if we're going to be adding any additional content, you will get first access to knowing about that. You will be able to enter any of the Supercast only contests that we will be offering. Do we know what those contests are? Absolutely not.
No,
but
we'll make them up.
We'll promise to add some contests.
I'll be in charge of that.
Give away some free stuff, which would be pretty cool. And one of the cool things I'm excited about is at the $5 chakra aligner level, you'll get the More Love newsletter. Once a month at the beginning of the month, we will have a pretty cool branded and templated email that has some interesting information, maybe some quotes, maybe some thought-provoking questions, just a whole bunch of really cool stuff that will be included in this newsletter to start your month off on the right foot. So again, everything I just talked about is included in the chakra aligner level, which is going to be $5 a month. What is that? What's 5 times 12? 60? $60 a year, right?
I don't know.
50, 60. $60 a year. So for $60 a year, oh, weird. I'm surprised that doesn't work when you click on that.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Yeah.
Oh, well. So for $60 a year, you can get access to all of that. Our third level, our Voodoo Visionaries, is going to be $9 a month. And $9 a month is what?
Oh, God. 9 times 12?
63.
It's definitely not 63. 108. 108. So for $100, $108 a year, you could be part of the Voodoo Visionaries. And I like to say the yearly amount, because when I think about the fact that I spent $6.78 on this coffee just today, and I probably go 4 or 5 times a week, that adds up real quick in my little bank account. So, for $108 a year or $9 a month, the Voodoo Visionaries are going to get everything I just talked about in the chakra aligners. And in addition to that, you're going to get videos of Aaron and Rebecca's
life,
absolute ridiculousness around
adventures?
Town. So if any
some of them are old,
got to see, oh yeah,
you can see some of our past interactions.
If anyone got to see the Goodwill Hunting video, that is a small preview of what poor Scott has to do when he follows us around to different places around town. We have some birthday footage. We have some old footage from before Scott came in our life. One of my favorites is the Spear Chuck Championships that occurred at Rebecca's house for her daughter's birthday. Were we there for the birthday? Yeah. Did we celebrate the birthday? No. What we did was do Spear Chuck throwing championships where Rebecca's grandmother sang the national anthem as we paraded around the backyard. I was in the front. Why?
Yep,
because I was the
year.
champion.
You win every year.
The champion.
This was a standard practice.
Yes. Yes, for many years.
Many, many years.
Yes. Happy birthday, Taylor. Yeah, by the way, Grab a beer.
When's it time for the spear chucking?
Grab a beer.
Spear chucking nationals.
Championship.
right down to my brother-in-law doing a whole
Yeah, he would do
commentary.
the interviews.
Yep.
And he would do the interviews. He would be like, here I am sitting with the spear chuck champion, Aaron, again this year. Aaron, how does it feel? And then I would go to answer.
Right.
And I'd literally get 3 seconds out and he'd be like, that's really great. And so, right? So that content is a lot of fun. But there's a lot of, there's also content in there of when Rebecca and I decided to do hotel roulette.
Oh,
which if you're not familiar with hotel roulette, you will be at the Voodoo Visionary level. And so there will be a lot of antics and ridiculousness of stuff from us around town. There will be surprise live virtual meetups for
when I read
smaller
that
groups of
without
people.
my glasses, I thought it said sunrise, and I'm like, not a chance in hell.
Yeah, right.
Not a
I know
chance in
better
hell.
than that.
I'm
I'm
like,
not signing you up for any of that.
Does that say sunrise?
Your weave's not on yet at that point. No, surprise live virtual meetups. You will also get full access to the entirety of the interviews that we have with the guests from beginning to end. And this is kind of cool. It's going to say incorrectly on here that you get a personalized More Love postcard, but Rebecca, I will give her some props here, really upped that game quite a bit.
Listen,
ain't getting no postcard,
You ain't
friends.
it's a virtual experience.
Yes.
It's a virtual experience, that I created, which
yeah. Right.
I mean, if you want to look behind the curtain.
I'm not lying. I was very impressed.
Thank you.
And I actually think it really establishes both of our personalities well. I'm like, here's a flat postcard. Mm-hmm. It's an actual hard copy postcard. Mm-hmm. I'm going to sign it with this pen and we'll send it to people with the pen because I'm sure they want that pen, right? They're like, oh my God, we smell it. Right? They got to have that pen. And then, of course, Practical Pete over here is like, do you know how much it costs to send these things in the mail? Again, things are going to get cost. She's like, I got this. Don't worry about it. So then she goes and takes 15 minutes and does her little voodoo magic that she does. And she comes back and tell them what you came up with.
Are we doing that?
Well, yeah.
Not a surprise?
We're supposed to be promoting each of our levels right now.
If
we're like, hey, why don't you sign on for $9 a month? Wait till you see what you get, though. It might not be cool. It might be.
I'm saying
we
the
don't
whole
really
thing?
know. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I created a interactive tarot card reading. Mm-hmm. It's an empathy tarot card reading.
Yep.
That you will be able to go in. We're going to post some questions, or you could ask your own. I mean, you do you, boo.
Yeah.
I mean, Erin would never think to just ask her own question if there was one post, but there's examples. And, and then you go in and you click and it shuffles the deck and then it will give you your reading.
Yep. I love it. Mm-hmm. I love it so much. Mm-hmm. And it will evolve through time. We've already talked about creating our own empathy cards.
Yeah,
so we've
that's
already
a goal.
talked
that's
about.
That's a goal. We're going to create our own deck.
Right. See you in 2027. Right.
It might contain 4 cards, but
that's right. We've already thought about doing our own artwork.
Nope. Not a chance in hell.
That is not going to happen. There's your stick figure who's over there with a thumb up.
Although my cabbage cartoon could be really cute.
Yeah, cabbage is showing up. And so is the professor.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I do like that. Yeah. So those are the 3 offerings. There's free, there's the $5, and then there's the $9 subscription level. That's what you're getting in each of those options. And then we will grow and move and shake and change from there. So that is how we're going to be starting. Mm-hmm. What we will be reaching out to 6 listeners. And identifying you as what we call an early adopter. And so an early adopter is someone who says, I want to try out one of your subscription levels and I want to do it for free for the first 3 months. So in exchange of getting the subscription service for free for 3 months, you will provide us with feedback about what you like. Was it easy to access? What did you want more of? Essentially giving us feedback on the subscription so that when we roll it out to our gigantic fan base, you both just stared at me. Like,
no, I'm in my mind.
You both just stared at me.
In my mind, that's a Zoom call.
What?
With those 6 people. So now you get live access to us to give us your feedback.
Great.
How fun would that be?
Great. Look at us dropping alive right there. Look at us. Hey, this is what you get with us, guys.
Again,
this is
last session.
This is what happens. Would you get that with me? Nope. But you're going to get it with Rebecca? Yep, off the cuff.
This is what happens. This is why I'm in the moment. I'm like, that sounds like a great idea.
That's great. So we need 6 listeners, just 6. 3 for the $5 level, 3 for the $9 level, who will get access for free. And in exchange for feedback on what was clunky, what could have been done differently. Scott will be a part of that as well.
I only accept compliments.
What's that mean? No, you don't want any negative feedback?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Okay.
Just praises.
Okay.
It's like when we do an escape room, I only want to hear the positive things.
That's right. For at least 20 minutes.
Yeah, at least.
You tell me I'll need to continue until you've decided that you're done hearing good things about yourself.
All the things we did good.
It does sound about right.
That's what we want to hear.
You just cover your ears for the part that wasn't working because I would like all the feedback. I want to make sure that this is not clunky as shit.
Okay. Okay.
So if you are interested, please either just hit us up on the Facebook page. Feel free to send us an email at themorelovepodcast@gmail.com. Again, only 6 people we're looking for to trial the first 2. Yes, Scott.
Wow.
Yes, Scott freaking puts
we
that
just put
email
our
address
email
up like
on
a
the
boss.
On the screen.
Boss. It's incredible.
Nailed it.
And we would love to include you and have you give us a test drive. So I hope that this helps to calm some anxiety because, to be fair, I'm going to blame this on both of you. We launched this subscription model and we're like dropping it like it was hot way back in December. We're like teasing the subscription model. Guess what? Subscription model's coming. Oh, I bet you can't wait to hear about the subscription model. And then our listeners who are empathic and also at times anxious are like, when's the subscription model coming? I went to the website. It's not on the website. How much is it going to cost? Do I want to continue to be as actively engaged in More Love? What if it costs $100 a month? I can't afford that. And so should I just stop listening now? This is what happens, right? When it's not an
Can you
organized...
imagine $100 a month?
Credit check.
Yeah, right.
No.
Right.
No.
No way.
The
Nothing
issue,
you saying is worth $100
No,
a freaking month.
Not a chance in hell.
unlike other podcasts,
They charge that?
no.
Oh.
Unlike other podcasts who have a team of unseen people in the background doing all this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You're looking at the team.
Yeah,
That's
right.
it. This is it, people.
I hope you just pan to a picture of me right there. Because
Here's the team.
there's the team.
You're looking at the
everybody.
team.
There's the
There it is.
team. That's
There it is.
great. Yeah. That's great. So, yes. So,
There's the team.
there it is.
oh,
There she
thank you.
is,
There
right
she
there.
is. The More Podcast team. The More Podcast team. Yes, exactly. I wanted to spend some time today to alleviate any anxiety or concern. We ain't breaking anybody's bank here.
No.
We're trying not to break mine is really what we're doing here with this whole thing. And again, who knows where it will go from here. But with any good business, I think the part that I love the most, whether it be with Concern Center or More Love Podcast, is we create, we figure it out. Some things are going to work. Some things aren't going to work. I know it's real ironic that I'm the one that's saying this. But I want this to be something that creates a really beautiful community of people that can connect, can grow, can learn, can push.
That's it. At the end of the day.
Ask the questions that maybe there wasn't a safe place to be able to ask previously. So that's what the subscription is all about. We really hope you will join the More Love community. We're excited to have you be a part of us, even if it's in the free version,
Oh, yeah.
and to grow with us as we continue to make this a resounding, crazy success. All right. Last thing is my card.
Okay.
Okay. My card, my affirmation card. I know that life is only limited by my imagination. I am dreaming bigger.
Look at you. My favorite part is we always pick these before you didn't just pick that now, before we even know what we're going to talk about, minus the broad headline. But that's so cool.
We're all dreaming bigger. I'm just the only one who's doing anything about it over here.
Okay, High Priestess. Okay. Wisdom. There you are.
Rectum. Hell, it damn near killed him.
Rectum. That's funny.
That's what I think.
Oh, lordy.
Cabbage and the Professor.
Cabbage.
Join us on
and
the morning
Professor.
show. We out.
I loved that.
Me too. Isn't empathy amazing?
Well, we're amazing. I don't know about all this empathy stuff.
That's fine. I accept you wherever you are.
Oh, God.
I love you.
I love you too.
And if you love us, please like and subscribe to More Love, the Power of Empathy podcast, wherever you get your podcasts.
See you next time.